We are doing Extra Life again this year, where you can mash buttons, roll dice, play games, and help kids along the way. I hope you'll be a part of that with us. Stick around after the video for more information. Our friends over at SPECULATIVEFaith.com are lending us another article, this one by Zachary Toda, titled "On Behalf of Young Christian Readers Who Don't Want Clean, Unrealistic Stories." He writes, "I'm a millennial and a Christian, one of those younger generation people that seem to garner such attention in Christian circles, and I love reading weird stories about magical lands, terrible beasts, cunning villains, and flawed characters. To some, that might sound perfectly natural. To others, however, the mere use of words such as magic or flawed character would be enough to lock me out of the library and bookstore henceforth until I regain my senses. It gets better. Worse? I happen to enjoy Harry Potter, still on book 4, have a strong distaste for squeaky clean main characters, and rather detest stories that preach at me. The thing is, I'm not alone. I have friends my age and younger, and friends of friends, and writer friends and reader friends, Christians, solid, grounded young people. And we're tired of the same old, tired of the constant pressure to conform to rigid Christian dogmas, legalistic mindsets, and narrow views of the world when it comes to reading. Tired of stories that are blander than yesterday's oatmeal. Tired of stories about people whose lives seem so out of touch with reality that it either makes us shake our heads or laugh at the spectacle. We'd rather have fantastical stories that transport us to other lands, where darkness lurks, yes, but where the light ultimately shines bright as 1,000 stars. We want what I call dark fiction. Relatable stories. Sometimes it's edgy. The hero isn't a compliant teenager who memorizes Bible verses for a living and has a crush on the pastor's daughter, which we never really see develop because appropriate boundaries. A lot of the time it digs into the nitty-gritty, dirty topics of life, topics that might be risky or refuse to fit into the good little Christian box. It is, however, relatable. That's what we crave. Don't give us stories filled with characters peering down from their ivory towers, removed from the struggle and mess and brokenness of living in a fallen world. Rather, give us stories with real, raw, vulnerable people who deal with hard situations, who live in realities where life beats them down and doesn't always work out as planned. Stories that aren't afraid to use fantastical elements. Those are the types of stories that let our imaginations soar, flood our minds, and drill into our hearts. We can spot the difference a mile away. I lived for a number of years in an oppressive Christian homeschooling environment, and it wasn't fun. Many of the approved stories were as exciting as a breakfast of corkboard. The good behavior of the main characters buried me beneath a load of guilt. The stories seemed written to trumpet Christian morals and agendas. The books generally lacked anything inspiring or invigorating to stir my excitement. Compare that to a series like Hunger Games, fraught with danger, bubbling with action. Were the characters perfect? Nope. Were the themes always beneficial? Nada. Were the story's conclusions always flawless? Sorry, no luck there. But it's easy to forget that the chief job of a story isn't to preach, though a truly powerful story manages to weave profound themes into a terrific narrative. And that's exactly where stories by Christians enter the picture. If they can stop the obsession with making sure nothing offensive, scandalous, or challenging gets within 100 feet of the storyline, they can offer hope. They don't live in a timid, perfect world that can't emphasize the brilliant light of truth because it refuses to acknowledge the darkness plaguing the world and the characters themselves. They live in stories where rough things happen, where characters make big mistakes, and there isn't always a clear, right answer. Just like us, our lives, our stories. Like I said, relatable. Redemptive stories. What makes a story resonate beyond the mechanics and techniques is that it reminds us of our stories. It's as if we're looking into a mirror and suddenly we care what happens. We want to follow these characters through the highs and lows. We want to know how it can possibly work out and why there's any reason to hope. And the breathtaking beauty lies in those glimpses of hope scattered throughout the pages. It lies in the themes that bring chills because we know them. We are living them. Most of all, it lies in the stories whose roots reach down into the rich soil of truth, to grow and flourish in ways that excite, delight, and cause the soul to sing. Yes, these are stories of broken people who live messy lives. What makes them truly valuable is when they part the shroud to reveal the piercing light of redemption, sacrifice, and love. These are the stories we want. What types of stories resonate most deeply with you? Why do you think having dark fiction is a good or bad idea? So again, that article by Zachary Toda can be found at speculativefaith.com. The title again, On Behalf of Young Christian Readers Who Don't Want Clean, Unrealistic Stories. Thank you very much for that, guys. Once again, this year, Christian Geek Central is participating in Extra Life. This is a charity that raises funds for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals, which provides free medical care to children whose families could otherwise not afford it. And this is very often for critical, life-saving treatment. Joining our team only requires a willingness to ask your family and friends to consider donating toward your fundraising efforts. Participants also usually do something fun and game-related to draw attention to their fundraising efforts, like a special game night at your home or your church, or like me, you could do a crazy 24-hour video gaming marathon. Now, I'm theming it around video games, but really this event can be themed around any kind of gaming, which includes both video games and tabletop games of any kind. What you do to raise funds is entirely up to you, but I would love for you to consider joining the Christian Geek Central Extra Life team. As team leader, I'll be there to help answer your questions, provide some helpful tips if I can, and just in general be your fundraising cheerleader and try to draw attention myself to your fundraising efforts. You can get more information about the event as a whole at extra-life.org. And if you choose to sign up there, be sure to select Christian Geek Central as your team so I can get in touch with you and then just help in whatever way I can. Fundraising can begin at any time, but our main push is going to be through the month of October leading up to November 4th. That's the annual Extra Life Game Day when I'll be streaming my 24-hour video gaming marathon live and trying to stay awake without throwing up like I almost did last year. More details on my live stream as we get closer to it. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.